Very good. So, next, Chris East and Sophary Dim will talk to you about progress with infrastructure as a service. Chris is the General Manager of Government Technology Services at DAA. Sophary is also in the DAA team and is, I think, a passionate product manager for this common capability. I know she's managing a pipeline of interested agencies that's bursting at the seams. Uptake is tracking well ahead of projections. And again, there are other intriguing opportunities in the wind. As Simon has touched on, the new Microsoft agreement includes provisions for deploying new and shared services on IaaS. The common web services, common capability that was in Stuart's list that he showed earlier, currently at RFP, I believe, will use IaaS as its foundation. And I believe there are discussions around the potential of one of government's line of business systems to be migrated to IaaS. So, Chris, over to you.
Morning, everyone. I don't have any musical talent nor artistic hair, but I have a bit of a misspent youth and some mosh pits, so hopefully that'll help. Today I don't propose to go into any great detail into what infrastructure as a service is. There are smarter people than me here and after this who can talk to you about that. But at a high level, I suppose what it is clearly on-demand, scalable, flexible infrastructure services provided by a panel of vendors. That's what it is at a high level. Basically, everything from housing through to utility compute and everything in between. One of the, I suppose the key tenets of this agreement is the scalable, flexible, on-demand nature of it. You don't have to buy it all yourself right at the start, depreciate it away. The vendors do that for you. It's on demand. You only use as many or as little of the service as you need at any one time. I think a little known fact, though, is that you can actually use as many or as few of the services themselves as is required too. So it's not an all or nothing proposition, and this is something we're really keen to stress. Ultimately, the intent is to try and get as much of government's infrastructure migrated across to the offering so that we can aggregate demand, give the vendors confidence to invest, and we can drive price points for ourselves. But one of the bits of advice we're giving to people is that if you want to just dip your toe, you could move a dev test set of environments for a project across to see whether it works for you. It's not an all or nothing. What we would encourage is that you talk to ourselves and the vendors about how it can work for yourself, what it is, what it isn't, and how you can make best use of it. Because, as I say, this construct is quite different. It's not a big contract with a vendor that is locked in stone. It is far more collaborative. We've had a lot of learnings in working with the vendors. And indeed, we acknowledge that a lot of people's infrastructure out there is quite different and quite varied, and it's not going to be the be-all and end-all for everybody. But we feel that a large majority of it will work for you and will work for your specific circumstance once you get into negotiations and discussions with the vendors. Sophary will talk a little bit about our role as the lead in a minute. But one thing that I can say is just the willingness, I suppose, and openness from the vendor community as we've started to get this going to actually work with us and discuss how to make it work best for everybody has just been fantastic. So as Stuart alluded to, no doubt you'll have seen various flavours of this diagram. Where does it fit in the stack? And we make sort of no apologies for starting at the bottom of the stack, I suppose, and working up. So largely we've gone after the commodity offerings to date, network infrastructure, desktop. And the real gains are actually, as Stuart said, further up the stack in platform and software as a service. But we think it's important to get the good foundations in place first, so it makes rollout of those things much easier once you do get going there. And just to, I suppose, on that point, two initiatives that we are looking to put there on infrastructure as a service to highlight, I suppose, that it's not just about individual agencies signing up, is the Government Digital Archive and the Common Web Services, all government initiatives. We're looking to run those on infrastructure as a service, so we're starting to move up the stack already with some initiatives, and that's what we see the future of IaaS. Again, not the be-all and end-all. Tracy will talk about some of the experience that she's got with a cloud solution, but we do see that it does have a really good place in the market, and we're very positive about where it sits. So, I mean, where are we at? Where are we at? So, as Stuart said, we had Datacom and Revera sign up at the end of last year, and we've now had IBM join us. And just so I can point out the smarter people than me in the room who you can talk to about this, we have Datacom. I saw we've got Victoria at the back over there. Revera, hands up please. And I'm sure IBM, we've got an IBM representative here. Oh, Mark, is that you down the back there? Yep. And outside of this, I encourage you to go and have some discussions with them. It is seriously a really open process for talking. You know, you're not committing yourself to anything by having a discussion with them about what it is and what it isn't. And as I say, Sophary will talk to you a little bit in a minute about what our role is in assisting you to have those conversations. So we've signed up 4 institutions to date, and we have over 10 very, very close to completing their participating agency agreements. So within a month or two, we will have, I expect, close to 15 organisations signed up on this service. And one of the most pleasing aspects has actually been the interest outside of core government. So the first organisation to sign up was actually the Public Trust. We've had interest from KiwiRail, Watercare, DHBs, regional councils, all sorts of interest, which I think actually validates where we're positioning the service and where people are looking at it for themselves. As I say, not the be-all and end-all, but it does fit a great need, and the more people we get on, the more demand we aggregate, the better the price points we get. The other reason for doing this is actually to give the market some certainty by aggregating demand so that they can do some investment. And we've already seen Revera this month, new data centre open in Trentham, which enables them to have utility compute operate out of Auckland and Wellington. We've got Datacom, who are well ahead of schedule with a new data centre in Hamilton. And these new data centres are implementing some great technology around power management and the racks and the tiers that they offer and everything like that, which is just fantastic. We've given them the certainty to invest, which then we will benefit from in a quality service, which also should help drive a price point. So I think we're already starting to see the benefits of demand aggregation and giving the market some certainty to actually invest in those offerings, and then we reap the benefits of it. Just finally, before I hand over to Sophary, it would be fair to say that we have had a lot of learning in this construct. We don't know everything about how this should work, and I think it would be fair to say the vendors have probably had an interesting time in this construct as well. It is quite different. We came out with a framework, if you like, for how infrastructure as a service should work, detailing a whole bunch of services, but it's not until you get to the actual implementation agency by agency that we've uncovered some of the nuances and what we need to work through. And indeed, what has happened is we've driven 2 price reductions already in storage, and I heard this morning there's another potential price reduction in one of the other services coming. As agencies start to work through and negotiate specifically what it means for them and how it works for them, and we start to look at the construct in detail, work it out, and actually people sign up, and then the vendors say, well, you know, it should work like this, or this is how we think it should go. And of course those price points are then available to everybody in the service. So from my point of view, it's been a very, very positive start. And I think we've learnt a lot about the process, and I've been really, really pleased with the way that the vendors have engaged with that. Now, Sophary will touch on our role as a lead agency, as I've said, but we encourage you, if you're unsure, any questions, as I say, talk to us. We're Switzerland, if you like. We don't have a vested interest. We're not pushing any product. We're not trying to grow this. We want it to be successful. But our role is to advise and assure and help both parties get the best out of the service. So I'll hand over to Sophary to take you through what our role is in a bit more detail. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, I'm going to talk about DIA, our role as lead agency. I've spoken to probably quite a few of you already with my virtual team, making up of Simon's team, Sharon Masters, who's sitting in front there, and a technical subject matter expert, which is generally our architect. So, our role as lead agency. We provide overview of the service, if you don't know about it. We're sort of like, as Chris says, we're Switzerland. Before you actually go and talk to the vendors, come and talk to us first. We give you an overview of the service. We tell you what you need to do, the processes, the engagement process. So what you need to sign, because DIA is dealing with, I guess, commercial service catalogues of Revera, Datacom, IBM. So we need to protect that confidential information. So we get you to sign the NDA, and then we release the service catalogue to you. We also provide advice, which range from whether you're eligible or not, and to even help you develop a business case, and work with you to understand how the service can integrate with the other stacks that you may have, like your software application and your platform that you've got. We provide assurance and governance of the service. The governance include providing strategic direction in terms of where the service should be heading, and that needs to align with market relevance and your needs as agencies as we take the service forward. So we're working again closely to Matt's team to get a better understanding of what you're up to in terms of your ICT needs and where you're heading and what you'll probably need from us as lead agency. Now, on a regular basis, we, as well as engaging with you, we monitor the performance of the service. We report back to a number of bodies like the ICT Council, the Minister's Office, and the steering group that IWS sits under. That's it. So, if you don't already know, the service providers again, Revera, IBM and Datacom. Talk to us. Talk to us. We've got a number of people here that you can speak to today. Myself, again, Sharon, who's in the front, wave, Sharon. Robin and Charlie from Revera. Victoria, Phil, Dom, Steve, Hayden, Hayden Revera, those guys from Datacom, and Mark from IBM at the back. That's it. So talk to us, be open, be frank, tell us what you need, tell us how we can help you, because that's the best way to get the best out of IWS rather than us tell you what the service is, because it won't add any benefit to you. Okay.